Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India NewsHour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour, Ukraine and Russia accuse each other of breaking Easter truce, a day after President Putin announced surprise one-day ceasefire. Iran-US task experts with framework for a nuclear deal after progress in talks in Rome. Massive landslides killed 3 people in Jammu and Kashmir, over 100 rescued, relief operations still on. Easter celebrated around the world from Greece to Iraq. Pope Francis greets cheering crowds. On a day meant for resurrection and peace, Ukraine heard the roar of artillery instead. Russia's Easter ceasefire turned into a blame game, shattering hopes of a truce. As global leaders call for calm, accusations fly and trust crumbles. DD India's Mihir Maikuri has more.
Cristo risorto e fonda il...
May the risen Christ grant Ukraine, devastated by war, his Easter gift of peace.
But these hopes for peace were dashed. Russia and Ukraine, locked in a third year of brutal war, spent Easter blaming each other for breaking a one-day ceasefire. President Putin had called for a ceasefire, a momentary stop to all military activity until midnight Sunday.
Guided by humanitarian considerations, today to midnight on Sunday, the Russian side declares an Easter ceasefire. I order all hostilities to cease during this period.
But on the ground, artillery echoed through the night. Zelensky accused Russia of staging a false show of restraint while launching dozens of assaults across the front. Either Putin doesn't control his army or peace is just propaganda, Zelensky said in a video standing before Kyiv's St. Sophia Cathedral wearing Ukraine's national embroidered shirt.
We know what we are defending. We know what we are fighting for whom and for whose sake. And that is why every time, no matter how hard it gets, we still do not lose faith.
Russia's defense ministry hit back, claiming Ukraine broke the truce over 1,000 times with drones, shelling and attacks across Crimea and the Russian border. Ordinary Ukrainians across the country united to express their distrust of the one-day ceasefire.
Today is Holy Easter Day and it is better to trust God and keep faith in better times. It is difficult to trust him, Putin, and you'd better not.
Easter Day mishaps have raised doubts over international peace efforts. Donald Trump, who promised to broker a ceasefire deal, has warned that the US may walk away unless real progress is seen. Analysts say Putin is trying to appease Trump with the Easter ceasefire proposal.
It's one of the efforts to sort of give Trump something, even if it's very partial, because the original request from Trump was for 30 days. The result is unilateral ceasefire without negotiating with Ukraine only for several days on Easter. But the same way, Putin kind of keeps the talks going, so to speak. So giving a little bit without giving too much.
Easter came, but peace did not. And the world is watching. Mihir Maikuri for DD India.
A wave of nationwide protests swept across the United States on Saturday as thousands rallied against President Donald Trump's policies, from mass deportations to sweeping government cuts. At the center of the demonstrations was a new grassroots coalition called 50-51, representing 50 protests, 50 states and one movement. Here's more on what's being called the National Day of Action.
Under the banner 5051, demonstrators in all 50 states of America joined a wave of protests against Donald Trump. 5051 is a decentralized, leaderless coalition that began on social media platform Reddit.
I'm here to stand up for the rights of the people that don't want to be in an oligarchy or have a king.
Billed as the National Day of Action, the movement echoed hands-off demonstrations that brought millions into the streets. Organizers say over 400 rallies were held across the country.
I think America's great because of the diversity we have, and my family members from different countries work so hard to come here, and my students pay a lot of money and work hard to come here too, and they shouldn't feel unsafe on campus.
From New York to Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles to Chicago, crowds chanted, marched and called for an end to what they describe as authoritarian policies.
I think that people are rising up all over this country for good reasons, and I am here to be part of that uprising and to protest all the, especially the deportations, the grabbing of people who are here legally and legitimately and throwing them into jail with no due process.
Today is a hands-off protest to demonstrate that the people of Los Angeles are in consistent fight and opposition against the Trump and the billionaire agenda that wants to gut all of our social services, all of everything that makes our society work for working class people.
Outside the White House, protesters expressed solidarity with migrants, fired government workers, and students impacted by the administration's crackdown.
They've outlawed the use of certain words and phrases. They're arresting people for voicing their opinions and their thoughts. It's got to stop. That's our country's premise, freedom of speech.
While many protested in the streets, others opted for community action, hosting teach-ins, food drives, and volunteering at shelters to reinforce their message that resistance is not just loud but constructive. Bureau Report, DD India.
Following the second round of US-Iran nuclear negotiations in Rome, both nations aim to establish a framework for a potential nuclear deal. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi called the talks constructive, while President Trump emphasized Iran's need to avoid nuclear weapons. Meanwhile, Israel's Netanyahu vows to prevent Iran's nuclear ambitions, hinting at potential military action.
After second rounds of talks between Iran and the United States in Rome, both countries have agreed to begin drawing up a framework for potential nuclear deal. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi termed the negotiations a constructive and forward-looking.
As I said, the negotiations were held in a constructive atmosphere, and I can say that they are moving forward, and we are moving forward. There is no reason for too much optimism. We cannot say that we are really optimistic. We must be very cautious, but there is no reason for much pessimism either. We must walk a middle path, reasonable and calm.
US President Donald Trump has repeatedly asserted in public statements that Iran must not be allowed to obtain nuclear weapons, even openly threatening military action against Tehran if talks fail.
I think Iran could be a great country as long as it doesn't have nuclear weapons. If they have nuclear weapons, they'll never get a chance to be a great country. They will never get a chance. It won't even come close.
Reports say Israel has not ruled out an attack on Iran's nuclear facilities in the coming months.
And
so I also want to say a few words to you about Iran. I am committed to preventing Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. I am not giving up on this. I am not letting up on this. And I am not backing down from this, not by a millimeter.
Tehran has long maintained its new program is for peaceful purposes. The negotiators would meet in Oman next Saturday again to discuss the result of the experts' works. Only time will tell what lies ahead, but Iran has stated that any US attack would be met with a strong response. Siddharth Bharadwaj's report for DT India.
India and France are expected to sign the mega deal for 26 Rafale M fighter jets next week when the French Defence Minister is in Delhi. The deal, worth rupees 63,000 crores, involves a government-to-government sale of 26 Rafale marine fighter planes to India for the indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant. The Cabinet Committee on Security, led by PM Narendra Modi, had cleared the purchase on 9th of April. 22 of these fighter jets will be single-seater variants, while 4 will be twin-seaters. India already operates Rafale fighter jets in its Air Force. Japan will emphasize fairness in any discussions with the US on exchange rates, Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba said on Sunday as bilateral trade talks grab global attention in President Donald Trump's tariff offensive. Ishiba, in a talk show, indicated Tokyo could buy more US energy and suggested flexibility on US accusations of non-tariff barriers to the Japanese automobile market. Trump, who unexpectedly joined the first round of US-Japan talks on Wednesday and touted big progress, has indicated he wants the negotiations to include his accusations that Tokyo intentionally weakens its currency to give its exporters an unfair advantage. Japan, which denies manipulating the yen, has over the years typically fought to keep a strong yen from hurting its export-reliant economy, but at last intervened in the foreign exchange market last year to boost its currency. South Korea and the United States will hold trade consultations this week in Washington at the suggestion of the United States, Seoul's Trade Ministry said on Sunday. Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok and Trade Minister Ahn Duk-kyun will meet with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on the sidelines of spring meetings of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank. A fisherman died after being swept off rocks near Sydney on Sunday, bringing the Easter weekend drowning toll to 6. The incident occurred at Watermolla Beach, where 2 people were vinched from the surf, but one couldn't be revived. A 14-year-old boy who was with the fisherman is in stable condition in hospital. The death toll continues to rise amid hazardous surf conditions along Australia's east coast, with searches ongoing for 2 people still missing since Friday. Surf Lifesaving Australia had warned of strong swells and hazardous conditions and is urging people to prioritize patrolled beaches and exercise caution near the coast. And still to come on DD India NewsHour. PM Modi will visit Saudi Arabia for 2 days, co-chairing talks with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and signing key MOUs. US Vice President J.D. Vance embarks on a 4-day visit to India from Monday to meet PM Modi to strengthen bilateral ties. Huge Birmingham factory blaze tackled by 75 firefighters as road closure causes heavy traffic. You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. US Vice President J.D. Vance will be on a 4-day visit to India from Monday, 21st April, marking his first official trip to the country and his first to Asia since President Donald Trump took office. Accompanied by his wife Usha Vance, their children and senior officials, Vance will meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday in New Delhi. He is also scheduled to visit Jaipur and Agra during his stay. The visit aims to strengthen bilateral ties and discuss key regional and global issues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a 2-day visit to Saudi Arabia on Tuesday at the invitation of the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Prince Mohammed bin Salman. PM Modi will be welcomed in Jeddah by Crown Prince himself. The two leaders will co-chair the second meeting of the Strategic Partnership Council. Several MOUs between the two sides are also expected to be signed after the bilateral talks.
Bolstering defence and economic ties will be the key focus for Prime Minister Modi when he comes calling on Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman will receive Prime Minister Modi here in Jeddah, and the two leaders will co-chair the second meeting of the Indo-Saudi Arabia Strategic Partnership Council. This will be Prime Minister Modi's first visit to the kingdom during his third term as Prime Minister, though the Prime Minister has previously visited Saudi Arabia twice in 2016 and 2019.
The visit is important also on account of the obvious significance of Saudi Arabia as a strategic partner for India. You're aware of the salience that this relationship has for India's energy security. Saudi Arabia hosts a very large Indian expatriate community, possibly the second largest expatriate community of its kind anywhere in the world. Saudi Arabia is a leading voice in the Islamic world and is increasingly playing an important role in regional developments. And therefore, from all of these perspectives, the visit provides an opportunity to build on the already strong relations with this strategic partner.
The visit would see signing of several memoranda of understanding between the two sides in various sectors, including energy.
We signed the memorandum of understanding in the field of electrical interconnections and green and clean hydrogen and supply chains. The electricity grid interconnection MOU is something on which work is expected to start imminently in terms of a study to lay out the feasibility of this connection, but we see the possible agreements between the two countries on clean hydrogen as another very important trade-linked initiative under this.
Apart from the bilateral aspect of the relationship, the Russia-Ukraine war will be a significant area of discussion between the two leaders. The ongoing tensions in West Asia and concerns over Houthi attacks on commercial shipping are likely to figure in the talks. During his 2-day visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also visit a factory in Jeddah and interact with Indian workers there. Given that Saudi Arabia is home to a 2.7 million strong Indian diaspora, the talks would focus on how to increase the participation of Indian workers in Saudi Arabia's economy. The Prime Minister shall also be visiting a factory to meet Indian workers here. The talks would also focus on how Saudi Arabia could increase the quota of Hajj pilgrims from India. With my colleague Neeraj Singh and cameraman Saurabh Bakshi, this is Amrit Pal Singh for DD India in Jeddah.
Speaking about the significance of the upcoming visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Jeddah, Indian Ambassador to Saudi Arabia Suhail Ijaz Khan highlighted how bilateral ties have evolved in recent years.
This visit is very important as we are strengthening our strategic partnership. India and Saudi Arabia are age-old friends, and the strategic partnership in recent years has really strengthened, diversified, and has given a new direction to the bilateral relationship. A wide range of talks are expected to take place in various fields of bilateral interest: economic engagement, defense partnership, energy partnership, and many other issues related to the regional and global political scenario.
All right, and DD India's Amritpal Singh is joining us live from Jeddah. Hi Amritpal, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Saudi Arabia on April 22nd. Indeed, a significant visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The ties between both the countries have strengthened over the years. Tell us a bit about it.
As the ambassador was saying, there's a wide gamut of engagement between India and Saudi Arabia. Since you became strategic partners in 2010, there is a dimension of trade, there is a dimension of security, there is a dimension of defense cooperation, there is a dimension of people-to-people ties. Of course, Saudi Arabia being the land of Makkah and Medina, Hajj pilgrims come from all over the world.
Yeah.
India has a sizable Muslim population, Saudi Arabia has been always cooperative. Prime Minister Modi this time around would be pushing for a higher quota for the Indian pilgrims. Of course, it's the second largest. It's home to the second largest diaspora, Indian diaspora, about 2.7 billion strong Indian diaspora. Million strong Indian diaspora. So given all that, you have a very robust relationship, be it in the sector of energy, be it in the sector of entrepreneurship, be it in the sector of people mobility. You import a lot of crude from them. If you look at last year's figures, your import bill from them has been about $31.56 billion. So now that makes them your fifth largest trading partner. You are their second largest trading partner. You export about $11.5 million of trade. Exports to them.
Indeed.
So given all that, there is a robust relationship. But of course, there is a scope to upscale it, and that's what the two leaders will be trying to do when they meet for the second Strategic Partnership Council meeting on Tuesday, Siddharth.
Definitely, Amrit, and among many areas, where both the countries have cooperation is defense, which has strengthened over the years. Tell us a bit about how the defense, has strengthened over the years between both the countries.
Well, defense cooperation can be seen into divided into two parts. One is, of course, the exercises that you do together, that the two forces do together. Primarily the Navy, because Gulf of Aden being a highly volatile region in West Asia, and Saudi Arabia being a very important player in the region, Indian Navy has been, consistently putting its presence there, be it looking at the commercial sea lanes, etc., securing the commercial sea lanes, etc. Given that the attacks by the Houthis have increased in the Red Sea area, especially since the Hamas-Israel war broke out, piracy was has been a big concern. So the Indian Navy has been regularly, securing the area. One is that. The other is cooperation in terms of defense exports to Saudi Arabia. Now, given the focus of the present government in India to make in India, Saudi essentially imports most of its defense needs from around the world, of which you have a significant pie. You give defense stores to them, and there is a scope and interest in Saudi Arabia to procure more from India. So I think there the defense relationship becomes important, and it's a very robust partnership. Also, given the fact that you are strategic partners, not only your defense interests in terms of just exchange of supply stores, store supplies, it is also taking common positions on evolving tensions around the world and in the region. So I think from that perspective, the defense relationship or the strategic relationship is very, very important and of course robust.
All right, we leave there. Thank you so much, Amrit. The Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has witnessed one of the biggest disasters in recent times. Tragedy struck Ramban district, where a deadly landslide has claimed multiple lives and caused widespread destruction. Torrential rains and cloudburst triggered devastation in Ramban in Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. It swept away homes, shops and roads. Rescue teams are racing against time to save those trapped.
Triggered by torrential rains and a cloudburst, the disastrous landslide left a trail of destruction in Ramban district and other parts of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. At least 3 people died, while more than 100 people were rescued in Ramban district.
धर्मकुंड के इलाके में भी पुलिस ने तकरीबन 100 लोगों को रेस्क्यू किया है और उनको पहले सेफर लोकेशन पे पहुंचाया था, हॉस्पिटल्स में कुछ उनको भेजा था और अपने स्कूलों में उनको भर्ती किया था, लेकिन अभी वो अपने रिश्तेदारों के घर चले गए हैं। तो उसके अलावा बनिहाल में भी एक हमारी पुलिस ने कुछ रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन किए थे।
अनफॉर्चुनेट इंसिडेंट हुआ हमारा सेरी बागना में, एक 2 घर जो हैं वो स्लाइड की वजह से जो है वो दब गए और ढह गए, जिसमें अनफॉर्चुनेटली 2 बच्चों को हमने गवा दिया और एक बुजुर्ग थे उनको भी गवा दिया 2 अलग अलग घरों में। तो बाकी अगर ओवरऑल हम देखेंगे सिचुएशन में तो लगभग कोई 40 या 50 के करीब हमारे घर जो हैं वो डैमेज हुए हैं कंप्लीटली, जिनकी इतला हमारे पास पहुंची है।
The landslides also caused travel disruption. The National Highway 44 remained blocked, leading to several disruptions in the travel. Hundreds of trucks, including passenger vehicles, halted at various points of National Highway, especially at Jakhani Chek Naka in Udhampur.
रोड जो है 1-2 जगह से टूट चुकी है। पंथियाल में थोड़ा सा वो एक जो लिंक था ब्रिज का वो भी बह गया है, तो उस वजह से जो अभी हमारे पास यहाँ पे खबरें आ रही हैं, तो उस वजह से पूरी तरह से रोड जो है नेशनल हाईवे पूरी तरह से ब्लॉक है।
जैसे आप देख सकते हैं कि 50-100 मीटर जो है एरिया इसने कवर किया है, जिससे इमीडिएट फ्यूचर में जो रोड जो है अभी ट्रैफिक चलना बहुत मुश्किल लगता है। तो मैं इस मीडिया बाइट के हवाले से तमाम कम्यूटर से ये रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूँ कि चाहे वो जम्मू से हो या कश्मीर से हो, इमीडिएट फ्यूचर में अभी अपना ट्रैवल अंडरटेक ना करें।
India's Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh, who is a member of parliament from Udhampur constituency, wrote on X, "The national highway stands blocked and unfortunately there have been 3 casualties and loss of property for a couple of families. The district administration deserves appreciation for timely and prompt action, which helped save several precious lives. Every kind of relief, both financial and otherwise, is being provided." Scores of vehicles were also damaged and remain buried under the debris on the highway in Ramban. While in Ladakh, in an unusual weather event, heavy snowfall has severely disrupted normal life in Kargil. The rare late April snowfall has caused widespread damage to trees, properties and power infrastructure across the district. Bureau Report, DD India.
And DD India's Tahir Nadeem Khan joins us from Bhaderwa from Jammu. Hi Tahir, this is really sad whatever happened, and we just told our viewers that rescue operation is still on. I just want to know that what is the current situation there?
Well, Siddharth, the situation has further deteriorated in Ramban town, especially because another spell of this incessant rain continues throughout the day, and as the last reports came in at Sunari Mohalla, Seri, and there is another place where flash flood has again triggered in Rahmat Masjid area, which has further damaged the buildings, both government, public and private buildings. although rescue operation is going on at a rapid pace, but still this incessant rains coupled with strong winds is hampering the rescue process. And right now a meeting is going on under the chairmanship of Deputy Chief Minister Surinder Chaudhary, who has come at Ramban and all the concerned authorities, including National Highway Authorities of India, District Administration, Police and Traffic Authorities are there. They are assessing the situation and has assured all the help will be provided to the affected families. And the more recently, there was a strange incident of heavy shooting stones, which has further impacted this rescue operation, because in the pitch dark night it will be very difficult in this situation when there is stones are falling from the hills, and this is very difficult to carry on the rescue operation and restore the highway. Earlier it was said it will take 8 to 12 hours, but by further assessing the situation and assessing all the damages, now it is being said, Basirul Haq Chaudhary DC Ramban said that it will take at least 3 days to restore the traffic on a vital national highway, that is NH 44. And as a precautionary measure, Ramban district administration has ordered closure of all the educational institutions, including schools, colleges and technical institute. And following the same, Harvinder Singh, Deputy Commissioner Doda, has also ordered just now that all the schools will remain closed for tomorrow, because keeping in view that there are expectation that there will be another spell of these incessant rains and coupled with gusty winds. That is why administration is taking all the precautionary measures and also carrying a rescue operation. But these rain and inclement weather is hampering all the projects. And as you said that several people have been rescued. District administration has confirmed that at least 50 houses has got damaged in Dharamkund area and some in Ramban town. And even in Kishtwar district, that on this Kishtwar Padar road, there also 22 families has got affected, and they have been moved to the safer places in tented accommodation. But as of now, there is rain is still going on in spells.
Tahir, yeah, with whatever you are saying, it seems like the situation is critical there right now. And as you told us, that incessant rain coupled with strong winds is further making the situation worse. And but rescue operation is still on. Let's hope the situation becomes normal as soon as possible. But thank you so much. We'll leave it there as of now.
Thank you.
And still to come on DD India NewsHour. An expert will join to demystify the nuclear frameworks being discussed between US and Iran. INS Kesari, Chennai and P8 participate in multilateral naval exercise of Tanzania, boosting interoperability with 8 warships and 41 observers. You're watching DD India NewsHour. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. US and Iran have given tasks to experts to frame a potential nuclear deal. Now let's decode what it actually is. And joining me today on the broadcast is Mr. Ravi Joshi. He is visiting fellow ORF. Mr. Ravi, thank you so much first of all for joining in on the broadcast. After the second round of talks, both Iran and US have agreed to begin drawing up a framework for a potential nuclear deal. I want to ask, what according to you is this framework now?
Okay, thank you for having me. You know, this framework of talks was actually
suggested by the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in the first round of talks, which was held in Oman. Okay, which were actually, now we come to know from the Tehran side that there were actually indirect talks, and about 10 messages were written by both sides and sent to each other through the Omani's foreign minister. In that suggestion, the first suggestion, one of the few suggestions made by the Iranian foreign minister was to have a framework. First, we must agree to the boundary lines as to what are the points of discussion that we are discussing. Okay, what are the minimum guidelines and what are the red lines that we should not cross. And this is a framework agreement. Now, framework in the framework agreement, Iran has suggested that you must first lift at least some sanctions on certain sectors to show that you are a reliable partner in this negotiation, that you mean serious business.
But will they do it? But will they do it?
Well, whether they will do it or not will now come. We will now come to know as the talks are progressing. Now, what has happened interestingly, soon after the second round of talks in Rome, they have now announced that an expert level meeting will take place on Wednesday. That is on the 23rd. No, which is a very interesting development, because so far there was no expert meeting going on. When the expert level talks happen, that is when the details will be worked out. All the minor details will be worked out, the nitty-gritty of the talks. So, which sectors will be open for sanctions, in which sectors the sanctions will be lifted, and how much the Iranian nuclear enrichment program will be allowed to enrich. This is a very sticky point. Steve Witkoff, after the first round of talks in Oman, in an interview to Fox News, said that Iran will be allowed to enrich up to 3.6%.
Yes.
Okay, but soon after that, in a social media post, he said Iran must stop all enrichment.
Yes.
Okay, so the Tehran Times analyst has said, very interestingly, that there is a tussle going on between the White House, the US administration, between two leaders, Marco Rubio, the foreign minister, and the NSA, Michael Waltz. They are the hardliners who are pushing that Iran must completely stop enrichment and all its stockpile. This stockpile which it has got, it must give up to a third country. This is what two of them are saying. But President Trump and J.D. Vance, Vice President, have told Netanyahu very clearly that you hold on your guns till we give a full chance to diplomacy.
Okay.
So, and Trump, that is why he is saying that if diplomacy doesn't succeed, then Iran is going to face a very tough situation. And Iran Israel might actually go and bomb the Iranian nuclear sites. This is a threat which Trump is repeatedly telling the world and telling Iran that please, you better make a deal now. This is your last chance. If you don't make a deal, Israel is going to bomb you and I can't stop it. So that is what Trump is saying, and J.D. Vance has also told Israel to hold your guns. We are doing something. We'll talk to them, convince them to stop the nuclear enrichment program and to hand over the enriched material, missile material, all that. No, you must remember here that Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has always repeatedly said that Iran is not going to make a nuclear weapon. Iran does not want a bomb. There is a fatwa. He has issued a fatwa against the nuclear weapon. Now, what Netanyahu says is they have already enriched up to 60%. Okay, and it is only another 30% they have to enrich in order to make a nuclear weapon.
Yes.
Now, with the existing stockpile, they can make about 6 bombs. So now the breakout time for Iran to make a nuclear weapon is just a matter of 2 months. That's what Netanyahu has been saying. And Trump is inclined to believe what Netanyahu is saying, and Trump is insisting with Netanyahu, give peace a chance. Let us try it out.
Okay. I agree with what you're saying, but Mr. Ravi, Donald Trump has time and again said that he would bomb Iran if talks fail. Just a threat, in your opinion, so that Iran comes to terms, or concerning?
Trump has proved himself in the last 3 months that he has been in power, since January 20th, that he makes some very extravagant, very ambitious claims, then he withdraws. Look at the way he has handled the tariff issue. First he announced heavy tariffs on so many countries, and then he gave a pause for 90 days. So this is his way of dealing with the world. His foreign policy intention and planning has been so far that give a threat, withdraw, and see how the world reacts or how the enemy reacts to you. Now, he gave very big concession to Russia on the Ukraine issue, but now he's showing anger. He's angry with Russia that you are not accepting the deal that I was offering you. And we made Zelensky we humiliated him in the White House and we made him accept your deal, but you are now declaring a ceasefire. So he's getting angry with Russia on that. So he's using bombastic terminology, bombastic threats, but he's not following it up. He's not following through with that.
So just a threat. So just a threat.
Yes, it is just a threat. Correct. In the meanwhile, Iran is not keeping quiet. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has gone to Moscow. He has met with President Putin. It has signed a strategic partnership with Russia. And Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister has gone and met the Chinese Foreign Minister, Russian Foreign Minister in Moscow. So there are wheels are in motion already. And meanwhile, Saudi Arabia is playing a very important role. Saudi Arabian Defense Minister visited just 2-3 days ago to Tehran and met with Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and handed over a letter from his father, King Salman. So what message he was carrying is not known. But this is a very important step. If Saudi Arabia also gets into the act in order to persuade Iran to give up nuclear weapons, it's a very good sign. It's a sign that Saudi Arabia wants peace in the region. It doesn't want to take the side of Netanyahu and allow him to bomb Iranian nuclear sites. That will be disaster for the entire region, and Saudi Arabia knows that. So various actors are moving various wheels, and there are so many moving parts here. You have to wait and see. Actually, this framework agreement, if it is put in place and if it is publicized, then we will know exactly what are the red lines and what are the boundaries of the agreement.
Okay. Now let's talk about Iran's nuclear program. What is your reaction to where Iran's current nuclear program stands? It has a long history of engaging in secret nuclear weapons research in violation of its international commitments.
The Iranian nuclear program actually was stopped after the 2015 JCPOA agreement.
Yes.
So, and it was the most successful peace agreement, which not only US but the P5+1, the permanent 5 members of the Security Council, US, UK, France, China, Russia +1, that is Germany, they came together and signed an agreement with Iran. So it was not a US-Iran deal. It was a multilateral deal approved by the UN Security Council, and it was the most opportunistic. I mean, it was the best opportunity for Iran and for US to stop the Iranian nuclear program. And after that, Iran actually stopped its nuclear program and brought it down to 3.6%, which is allowed under the NPT agreement which it has signed. So any country which has signed a nuclear non-proliferation treaty can have nuclear energy for peaceful purpose, and they were using it for that purpose. Now, President Trump came to power, and then he tore up the agreement in 2018. And it came as a shock to all the European partners. Both UK, France, and Germany, and on the other side, Russia and China were shocked by it. And Russia and China said, we are no longer bound by the JCPOA, and we will go ahead dealing with Iran on an equal footing as we were doing in the past.
I got it.
China said we will buy oil from Iran, and Russia said we will buy weapons from Iran. All that started happening. And Iran went back, scaled up its nuclear enrichment program up to 60%, which is a dangerous escalation.
Indeed.
So now it has gone far beyond.
So very quickly, Mr. Ravi, how do you analyze where is it going? Very quickly, we have paucity of time.
I think Iran wants a peace deal.
Okay,
Basically,
Iran. Okay.
Iran
All
wants.
right. Iran wants a peace deal. We'll have to wait and see.
But all the sanctions
Yeah.
must be lifted.
Yeah, definitely. Iran wants peace. That's what you're saying, but we have to wait and see what future holds. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in on the broadcast today.
Thank you.
A huge fire broke out at multiple factories on Warwick Road, Birmingham, early Sunday morning, prompting a major emergency response. Initially, 8 fire engines were sent, but as the fire spread, authorities increased the response to 15 fire engines, 3 hydraulic platforms and a high-volume pump due to water pressure issues. The fire has affected Midland Linen Service and nearby businesses. Several Trent water assisted with boosting water flow, and aerial images show flames dangerously close to residential areas. Despite the scale of the incident, no casualties have been reported. Firefighters are working hard to extinguish the blaze. The World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit, or WAVES, is a groundbreaking initiative by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. This initiative is set to take India's media and entertainment industry to new heights. From Bollywood celebrities to top entrepreneurs in media sector, everyone is lavishing praise on WAVES and expressing their excitement for the summit, set to take place in the month of May. Listen into what Managing Director PVR Inox Ajay Bijli has to say.
If you love watching movies on the big screen, imagine the entire world watching your movies on that same big screen. World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit, WAVES, is making that happen. Let's build the next blockbuster era together.
WAVES 2025 is bringing to the fore a global showcase of original animation, VFX, artificial, virtual reality and virtual productions. The names of the top 42 finalists of the Animation Filmmakers Challenge have been announced. Sound of Joy by Sukankan Roy from Kolkata has been selected for showcasing at the summit.
Of the entire spectrum of media, right from video, audio, animation, VFX, gaming, comics, XR, VR, everything, which is, I think, it's one of a kind. And the kind of effort the government and Doordarshan, everybody is putting into it to propagate it across this country, I believe this job is commendable and it will definitely show its results in a very positive way. We are really looking forward to WAVES, and I hope it will be a great success for everybody, for this country.
Another film, The Quiet Chaos by Prasenjit Singha and Debrati Roy, a husband and wife duo from Kolkata, has also been selected for the summit.
We don't have any idea. Like usually as a new people or new filmmakers or new directors, you will not have that much connections to the to those people. So in that sense, what Broadcast Ministry did with this event, that's really helpful to basically this event created a bridge from content to directly to the producer. So or different OTT platform or channels, whatever it is. So they can understand the quality of the content directly, and they can judge based on the subject.
And let's take a look at other stories making news. In the multilateral naval exercise, the INS Kesari of Andaman and Nicobar Command, along with INS Chennai and P8I, took part in IKME sea phase of Tanzanian coast with 41 observers and 8 warships. The exercise enhanced interoperability through maneuvers and seamanship. Indian Air Force reached Al Dhafra Air Base in United Arab Emirates to participate in exercise Desert Flag 10, a premier multinational air combat exercise. Scheduled to take place between 21st of April to 8th of May, the exercise aims to undertake complex and diverse fighter engagements with exchange of operational knowledge and best practices with some of the most capable air forces in the world. India's Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Shivraj Singh Chauhan attended BRICS Agriculture Ministers meeting in Brazil on Sunday. The visit is an important step towards strengthening agricultural trade, technology and innovation between India and Brazil. India intends to upgrade farmers by enabling them the benefits of global technologies. Christians across the world are celebrating Easter on Sunday, one of the most important and joyous festivals in the Christian calendar. From midnight masses in Kerala and Goa to sand sculptures in Bolivia and dazzling traditions in Greece, the spirit of Easter is uniting communities worldwide. Let's take a look at how Easter is being observed across the globe.
Christians around the world celebrated Easter on Sunday, commemorating the resurrection of Jesus Christ on the third day after his crucifixion. One of the most significant festivals in the Christian calendar, Easter symbolizes the victory of life over death and brings messages of hope, renewal, and forgiveness. In India's southern state of Kerala, Easter was marked with deep religious fervor. Special midnight masses began on Holy Saturday, drawing thousands of faithful to churches across the state. In Goa, Easter vigil services illuminated churches and chapels across the state. The kindling of the Easter fire, lighting of the paschal candle, symbolizing Christ as the light of the world. On the Greek island of Chios, Easter was celebrated with a bang. Locals revived the centuries-old rocket war tradition, firing thousands of homemade rockets into the night sky at midnight, lighting up Easter night in a spectacular show of faith and festivity.
Passage to adulthood for...
We can't have Easter without the rocket war. It's a tradition that dates back to the time of the Turkish occupation, if not earlier. The number of rockets has been significantly reduced. People still come to watch, but it's no longer the thousands we once had. Partly due to past issues, still, the entire island of Chios experiences intense, especially tornadoes.
And everybody is happy.
In the Philippines, Catholic faithful gathered for early morning mass in the capital Manila. Worshippers prayed for blessings, good health and a better life. In Bolivia, artists turned sand into sacred art, sculpting elaborate scenes depicting the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ. While in London, hundreds of Ukrainians gathered at the Ukrainian Catholic Cathedral for Easter services, carrying baskets filled with traditional Pascha cakes and decorated eggs. Hundreds of Russians attended the Easter Mass led by Patriarch Kirill overnight on Saturday through Sunday at Russia's main Christ the Savior Cathedral in central Moscow. From Kerala to Chios, from Manila to Moscow, Easter brings together Christians across cultures and continents in a shared celebration of faith, hope and new beginnings. Sarita Chaudhary reporting for DD India.
From Rome to Jerusalem, from civilians to the politicians and from royal chapels to remote villages, Easter Sunday was marked with faith, tradition and reflection. As Christians around the world celebrated the resurrection of Jesus Christ, each community brought its own culture and spirit to the occasion. Here's how Easter unfolded across the world.
Christianity's most important holiday, Easter, symbolizes the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It brings together various people from across the globe to remember Jesus Christ's resurrection, seen as a sign of new beginnings and hope. Pope Francis returned to St. Peter's Square in a moving moment of resilience, appearing for the first time since recovering from double pneumonia. The 88-year-old greeted tens of thousands following Easter Mass at the Vatican, his presence a symbol of hope and endurance. While Russian President Vladimir Putin attended an Easter service led by Patriarch Kirill at Russia's main Christ the Savior Cathedral in central Moscow. In Jerusalem's Old City, Christian worshippers gathered for a spiritual Easter Mass, praying at one of Christianity's holiest sites, believed to be where Jesus was crucified and resurrected. In Britain, King Charles arrived at St. George's Chapel in Windsor, continuing the royal family's Easter tradition. The annual service reflected both personal faith and national continuity. In eastern Germany, the Sorb community, which is one of Europe's oldest and smallest minorities, kept alive their unique Easter tradition. According to a legend, young women once walked the villages at night, singing carols until dawn to announce the resurrection. In villages across Moscow, Russians marked Easter with quiet prayer and community gatherings. Many offered heartfelt wishes for peace amid ongoing global conflict and uncertainty. Easter in every corner of the world remains a reminder of renewal, unity, and enduring faith, expressed in ways as diverse as the people who celebrate it. Bureau Report, DD India.
You're watching DD NewsHour. Time now for sport. And Virat Kohli continued his rich exploits and powered Royal Challengers Bengaluru to a 7-wicket victory over Punjab Kings at Mullanpur on Sunday. Kohli slammed his 59th half-century and returned unbeaten on 73 as RCB wrapped up the 158 chase with 7 balls to spare. Devdutt Padikkal was Kohli's partner in crime. He was dismissed for 61. Punjab, on the other hand, struggled to get going despite a decent start by Priyansh Arya. Prabsimran Singh, after Royal Challengers Bengaluru won the toss and opted to field. Punjab were restricted to 157 for 6 in 20 overs. The spin duo of RCB, Krunal Pandya and Suyash Sharma were economical as the two combined to scalp 4 wickets in fact, while conceding just 51 runs in the 8 overs between them. La Liga club Barcelona on Sunday said that Robert Lewandowski has suffered a hamstring injury after the Polish striker was forced to come off in their 4-3 win over Celta Vigo. Lewandowski, who made his 100th La Liga appearance on Saturday, went down clutching his leg late in the game, which Barca won in the 98th minute to extend their La Liga lead. The club did not give a timeline on his return, but a hamstring injury may rule the 36-year-old, who has scored 40 goals this season, out of the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid next weekend. Lewandowski might be sidelines for 3 weeks, a potentially huge blow for Barcelona, who face Inter Milan in the Champions League semi-finals in the coming weeks. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.